YouTube, come on. Welcome in, folks. How you doing? Good to see you. Sorry about the sound. We got it. It's under control. Welcome into a new week. Ew, we got some news and stuff to talk about, folks. We've got Star Citizen 4.2.1 in the PTU. We already played a little bit of that, but I kind of want to talk about it now. Whoa, sorry, camera's all over the place. I want to talk about what it includes, what it's doing, where it's going, direction, all that kind of stuff. We'll, commentary, back and forth, the good stuff. And then we're also going to talk a little bit about social features because it's been a little while since that. I don't think we ever reviewed that section of CitizenCon, and I wanted to go over it today. The RSI Meteor is on the docket for today. It's a new ship, probably the next ship to come out. And then beyond that, just hanging out, just chatting. I don't have too much to go over. Maybe we'll hop into... Actually, because I don't have the capture card, we are back to a single PC stream for right now. No gameplay today, but we should be back to it on Wednesday. We'll actually get into the PTU, try out more of the missions. But today it's all chatting. And I'm about to put my my poll live, my monthly poll. This is actually something I've been doing every month since back in... September, I think, maybe October. I've been asking, what are your feelings overall towards Star Citizen at the moment? I've been doing it anywhere between the 20th and the 25th of every month since last October, and then tracking all of the results. And it's been interesting. In fact, I can show you guys. Let me take a little sneak peek into said results. What's going on with my keyboard? Why is my keyboard doing that? Uh-oh. I'm seeing a USB error here. Hold on, let me cycle this thing out. Thanks. Don't do. Oy. Okay, probably good now. Let's see. Yep, we're doing okay. All right, so every month I put out this poll just to kind of see what people are thinking. Thought it was your PC. My bad. To see what people are thinking across the spectrum of Star Citizen. And every month, it's a little bit more surprising. Let me try and pull this up for you so you can see the actual results. First, let's post this one. It's going live on the channel. Feel free to go answer this poll if you'd like. It helps with the data. All data is good data, except for bad data. That's not good data. What would I have even named this? Monthly poll? Poll? Star Citizen poll results. Would that be it? Thanks, that's not formatted though. Star Citizen. No way, guys. I don't know what I called this. Oh shit, gameplay. Overall feelings towards Star Citizen. Did I lose this? I might have to go back and find this at some other point. How did I manage the result? So, link to poll. Hold on, I haven't even gotten to say hi to everybody. We had a ton of dancing this morning. Appreciate you guys for that. AAK, thanks for dropping in with the sub to start us off. Gifting that one out to Tier Halibel. Appreciate you, my dude. Vast and Rhino, AAK, Eng Buenos, Yui. Good to see you all in chat. Welcome in. Here, Halibel. Welcome to the sub club. PK! I see PK throwing that arm around. Mrs. Tomat, I'm not surprised. Boulder Dash, welcome in. Nerfly, I want to hear the reports on how Civ's going, dude. I haven't played Civ in months, and I've only played Civ 7 for like a couple of hours, I want to say. I'm rather disappointed in myself. In my defense, me and Mrs. Tomato haven't had our computers set up to play Civ, and we don't really play unless we're playing in multiplayer. Let's see, ship. Oh, we're gonna need this today, the ship tracking page. Here we go. Found it. I'm gonna put the word poll in here, and then I'm also gonna star this so that I never lose it again, because it's ridiculous. All right, here's our results. So obviously these results are changing constantly because some people find these polls after the fact, but for the most part, it's pretty static. So if you look at the poll, sorry, I know it's very bright. Don't think they give us dark mode. Hello? Dark mode? Dark mode. Oh, we got theming. No, that's just for the chart. Sorry about it, folks. Maybe somebody will tell me. So, as you can see, we've got 3 differently colored lines here. First is red. That's people coasting. That is literally just, I am coasting along and not really worried, just following the game. This is like the neutral vote. And then we get the happy vote and the not happy vote. Happy vote is blue. Not happy vote is yellow. So if you look at how this has progressed over since November 1st of last year, people were not as happy as they were unhappy. Can confirm or remember that. But over time, it's been bouncing a little bit. But in the beginning of this year, it did bounce up over the unhappy crowd. So I haven't, obviously we just did this last poll. We just put it out like a minute ago. So people haven't answered it yet. But we'll see where it goes from here. I do think that they're probably going to intersect again. Not going to lie. I think the general, it's pretty mixed. It's pretty mixed. Votes so far have, I'm happy at 21%, but that's 14 votes. That could literally just be you guys. If you would like to vote on this, though, I'll drop it in the chat for you all. And continue to collect data. I'm not trying to make any specific kind of point other than just that, like, data tells. And say what you will. The goal that Star Citizen is out on this year is just to make people happier. Glad you're still making videos. I'm on the hiatus until the game's more stable, having a hard time finding stuff to talk about. Good to see you in chat though, man. Thanks for popping in here. It can be a little dry. It can be a little dry for Star Citizen at times. June and July are both fairly dry months. So we'll see how it goes for the next month or so. May is a huge high point for all things Star Citizen, and then it kind of quiets down until I would say late August or September. But this is a weird year. We'll see what they do over the summer to try and keep engagement up, because that's their biggest goal. Looks like they're trying to get 4.2.1 out quickly, which, I mean, if they, all right, let's look at how this could roll out, how these updates could play out this year. Yeah, the monthly patches will definitely help. PK's on the money. And the money may very well be on PK. Ow! Sorry. That was my shin. It hurt. Okay. Let's take a look at how the updates usually roll out every year, especially in the summer. The slow summertime. So historically speaking, we got a March update. June, November, December. It's like a weird, it's supposed to be at the end of every quarter, right? So at the end of March, at the end of June, no, at the end of July, mid-June, at the end of June, the end of August. Man, I do not know my quarters. At the end of September, and then in December. And most of the time, this patch, all of the patches slip, and we end up getting 2 patches in 2 months at the end of the year. But you can see that they kind of follow this cycle all the way back to 2018. Literally, I can't believe that's 7 years ago, dude. Like, wow. Wait, no. Yeah, 7 years ago. It blows my mind because I used to consider Halo 2, or no, I would say Halo Reach was like a very long-term played game for me, and that was like 3 years. Was that even 3 years I played it? Might have been 2 years. Definitely played it a lot more than I play Star Citizen right now, but I still, the amount of time that I've covered or even just followed this one game is freaking gargantuan compared to everything else, except for maybe Satisfactory. That's about it. Just crazy to me is anyways, that tangent. So March, June, November, December. The next year they slipped a little bit into April, July, October, December. This one came a little bit earlier. Look at that. The next year, again, it was April, this time towards the end of the month. August, October, December, April again, August again, November this time, December. Things started to slip up a little bit in 2022 when 3.17 dropped, and then they kind of had to wait for 3.18 because it was technologically bound. It was not time-based. All of these patches came out on that schedule because they were time-based, and after 3.17, that was out of the that idea was in the trash. So now it was all about tech. The last time it was all about tech was 3.0, which was what created this whole roadmap and started us on this journey of the actual persistent universe. Before that, it was a small segment, very small slice. So 3.18 took almost a year to come out, and that was a strange year for this game. But then they kind of tried to continue on from there. They released 3.19 just a couple months later because they really wanted to get something out to stabilize things. But then from there, another patch in September, October, making it a little bit weird. This is kind of like one patch split into 2. And then the December patch. After that, they had a May patch, and things got a little weird again because, well, for starters, this patch also had a pretty big core tech, freight elevators, which were taking advantage of the cargo refactor. They depended a lot on PES. It's obviously a little iffy at times. And ultimately, this was another core tech delay in a patch. So from May, we had to wait until August. And then again, we had server meshing in 4.0, another core tech delay. So that made all of these patches from 3.18 to 4.0 be like a segment of updates that acted a certain way. That was the middle section. And then back here, these are the before 4 times. So now we're in this new stage where they're still hitting a major patch every quarter. They released their 4.1, I think, in March. I couldn't even possibly keep up anymore. They're releasing their 4.2 now in June, and it would be expected that 4.3 would then come in September. But I don't know. So they label these as Q1 to Q2 because these are encapsulating all of the patches that are in 4.1. So 4.1.1, 4.1.2. Same with 4.2, they're calling this Q2 to Q3. So potentially they could still be releasing 4.2.3 by August. It's just a matter of like, how are they gonna do this? Because if you go to the latest roadmap roundup, the Trodemap roundup, of course. Hopefully they bring up the right one here. June 18th, just last week. Roadmap roundup states that some armor, medium utility armor, has been temporarily removed while we shift it to the Alpha 4.3 column. Since we don't get to be blessed with a proper roadmap anymore, we don't know what the 4.3 column is. But the fact that they're moving that utility armor all the way back to 4.3 kind of insinuates that 4.3 is closer, right? Unless they're just saying, we're just going to push this armor back like 2 more months instead of, say, a month or 2. I don't know. It feels like 4.3 could be an August update at least. But maybe they'll wait till September for it. That's just what the updates are looking like right now. We can see that we still have to get 4.2.1, but honestly, they might try to get that out by early July. If they're testing a global event, maybe not. Who knows? Who knows? Either way, those are my thoughts on what it's looking like possibly patch-wise for 4.2. And maybe when we'll see 4.3. Waiting for the tech preview. Engineering. Engineering and scanning and radar. At least we hope. August DevCon is going to be big, maybe. August DevCon. What do you mean by that? This month is looking as the best, second best June ever. Dude, that's wild. Why? What are they even selling? Toes. Toes. What's up, folks? Greeny Cake. Gallower. Welcome. Alex Moore. Good to see you guys. Nerfly and Fola. Murat. Blowing up the YouTube chat. Good to see you all over there. YouTube's slow to wake up this morning. It's okay. Thaki, thank you for the sub on Twitch. Little Twitch baby coming out. 9 months subbed up over here. Appreciate you, my dude. Oh, the developer conference in August. Right. Gamescom. Right? Odiriok's enjoying your gameplay. That's what people are saying, man. There's a lot of people who are like, we're at this weird stage of Star Citizen where it's really easy to have a very, very good experience and a very, very bad experience. And those experiences could have just 2 minutes of gameplay in between them. Just the best time of your life, and then you suddenly are swamped by like a game-breaking glitch that throws you in front of a player that kills you, and then finds your respawn and then kills you again and keeps killing you as you respawn. And it's like just a series of unfortunate events. 318 was a mess when it hit. Yep. God bless people who don't have to deal with 318. Just having that in my memory is painful enough. You jumped into 4.2 briefly and it was so smooth. That's good. New patches every month makes people come back frequently. More people means higher than average sales. Absolutely. Which is like, people are like, oh, they're just gonna sell more ships. That's how they're gonna make more money. Yeah. But honestly, I do believe that even if they weren't selling more ships, they'd be making more money just because, like you said, they're constantly updating the game. Literally, we watch every single game that comes out. When an update comes, the player numbers spike. When player numbers spike, more people pay attention. More people pay attention. It's just logical that more people are spending money. So dropping regular small updates every month is just going to get you a whole bunch more visibility. And I don't think they can do it for the very long. This year is a very special case for them. Look at this, dude. This is insane. But yeah, their June is already at 7 million at the moment. Last year's June was, last year's June was 7.2 million. This year's June is at 7.3 right now. So they're already beating last year's June. What was their best year? 2022? 10 million. That's insane, man. That's crazy. Wild. Here we go. So they gotta beat their 2020, it looks like. We're gonna talk about the variants and stuff later. We're gonna talk on the RSI Meteor and kind of how that fits into all this. How are they doing on actual new accounts, though? Always take numbers with a grain of salt. These are just coming from the website. New accounts specifically are going to be fudged because people are just like making additional accounts to get referrals and stuff like that. It does look though like they're doing better. They're actually doing better year over year, almost. They picked up a lot in June. Is there a big Alien Week referral bonus or something? He spent 10 hours this weekend trying to get past Junior Security Contractor and Crusader. Had a really good experience, but they really increased the grind. I would say the grind is okay to increase if there's more to the game, but there's just so little right now that it gets super boring. 318 was still a cakewalk compared to 3.0. Really? I guess I do agree in terms of like the lengthiness of 3.0, because we didn't really see the game stabilize until like 3.3.5 when they dropped in object container streaming. Magical Pugs asked, didn't they change the scanning a bit in 4.2? What else have they promised it would do? I don't know. I actually don't know anything about the scanning changes. I didn't see anything in the patch notes about it. I haven't really gotten to experiment much myself. It just felt mostly like a graphical update. How bad was 318? A lot of people couldn't even play the game for like a couple weeks. And I don't mean play the game like you logged in and it was unplayable. I mean like the game wouldn't load. Like you would get stuck at the splash screen. It was miserable. Some people just struggled for like a full-on month. It was bad. I have streams that you could find on this channel where we just sat in loading screens for like 2 hours and then ended the stream. It was really bad. At 843 million, what they've shown is not enough. To be honest, I think in order to really appreciate the $843 million, you got to visit the offices too. And I know that probably triggers people immediately, because whether or not they spent money that they should have on the office is subjective. But with that 843 million, they've built up a whole company. They have paid hundreds of employees for years. Again, maybe that's not the priority that you're looking for. Some people would say fire employees, save more money, build the game faster. They've built a game engine. They've built up and maintained an MMO, essentially. I mean, I know it's not a real MMO, but it is an always connected, persistent game, which does cost a lot in terms of servers and stuff. I would say for the money that they have made, can't lie, I'm disappointed by the timeline, for sure. Like, I'm very disappointed that we still don't have things like engineering, hacking, decent security, or any real interactive narrative gameplay. But I don't feel like I could reliably say that it's... Sorry, hold on. I don't think I could reliably say whether or not it's enough. Game-wise, yes. But what we're seeing in the persistent universe is not all they've made with that money. You were locked out for a month and finally got in just to be stuck in New Babbage for another 2 weeks. That's 318 for you, Cryo? Oh yeah, they just acquired a studio too. So that was a pretty small drop in the bucket compared to everything else, though. Supposedly they added more advanced bunker missions, but you don't have the rep to see them. Ooh. That would be nice. Should be way further in development for SC as well in all that time. Seriously, man. Aye. The state of the persistent universe is definitely a drag. I think it gets so much worse because we can all see just how fun it could be. But priorities, you know. All right. Let's talk about 421 though, because this is actually pretty interesting. Once Squadron 42 is released, do you think things speed up because all resources will be put into the PU? As somebody said today in one of my YouTube videos, once they finish Squadron 42, they'll move right on to Squadron 43. I don't think all resources will go towards the PU, but I do think there will be a definite increase in production in the PU. Honestly, I don't think that's going to even happen after Squadron is released. I think that's going to happen after Squadron goes gold. And they're like basically just finishing up bugs and stuff, because look at how much our narrative, like, just like take a step back from 2025, go back, try to go back to 2023. In fact, let's see what was on the freaking roadmap back in 2023. All right, take yourself back to 3.19. Ghost Hollow is getting dropped into the game. We're just now able to attach and detach things from spaceships with tractor beams. We still can't move boxes. We can't even move boxes with tractor beams back then, I don't think. Right? Or no, that was added in 3.18, wasn't it? Yeah, the cargo system was 3.18. But that's 2023. So like the additions we were getting in 2023 was like, hey, you can move boxes now. Hey, you can move components. Hey, we added freaking missions to the prison. Salvaging was added. Look at what we're getting now. They're not even shying away from the fact that they've just got a full-on narrative arc going on. The trailers don't even cover the updates anymore. They just cover whatever is the main sandbox activity thing in that update, right? 4.1 trailer was just Hathor facilities. 4.2 trailer is ASD stuff. And they're pretty proud to show it off. So all it took was the narrative team being done with their Squadron stuff, and suddenly they blew up in terms of narrative. What's gonna happen there when that happens with their their actor feature teams, or with their level design teams, their audio team, whoever it is that's continuously being tied up in Squadron 42? Will they have the same sort of effect that the narrative team did? I don't know, but I do think that they will have a noticeable one. And that could definitely compound. It could also lead to a very unstable game, as a bunch of things change very quickly. Why is my calculator keep turning on? Yeah, unless... Okay, yeah. Ooh. That just makes me think of cooked peppers. Okay, make them. My gosh. Aren't new chapters planned for Squadron 42? Yes, which is what the person meant by Squadron 43. It's kind of like the people who made jokes about the Xbox 720. Oh my god. I remember for like 3 years straight, you just get all these concept art pictures of ridiculously conspired Xboxes with stupid designs. And God, it was like if you just showed me one of those pictures, I would think it was like early generative machine learning art, because it was just so ridiculous. It was just people stacking Xbox 360s on top of each other and being like, Xbox 720 concept leaked for 2011. It's just like, okay, sure. Nowadays, it's just made with AI. Yep. Yep. Nowadays, it takes nothing to dream up a new console. Just a 3-word prompt. Show me next Xbox. That's 4 words. I'm a liar. Sorry. Someone was saying that there are things already available but are being kept for Squadron. Do you think that's possible? Hell yes. Absolutely. 100%. I can actually show you. They're not secretive about that either. Thanks, Dan. This is a lesser known video. about Squadron for PTU. Actually got suggested a pretty good video we should watch sometime here shortly. This guy. Pretty cool video too, if I do say so myself. This was a fun teaser they released back when we needed teasers to keep our beaks wet because there wasn't much going on. Dude, 2011, which we all know was only 5 or 6 years ago. Oh man. Okay, so these ships, these are actually... Oh yeah, we saw it in the Squadron 42 gameplay. But if you look at these ships, these are all the Vanduul remakes of the ships we currently have that they are purposefully not putting in the game because they're going to wait until Squadron to do it. Does that mean that they're actually ready to be flown by players? I don't know. Maybe it's the same sort of situation as what we had with the Idris. But case in point, the Idris, the F8, the Hornet F7 or F8, F7A, all of those ships are things that they were holding off on because of Squadron that they just at some point decided to finish. So I won't say for sure these things are all ready and they're holding off on them, keeping them away from us. But I will say that they probably could finish them and put them in the game if they wanted to. And there's a lot of them. You got all these Vanduul ships. And then you've got these sort of pirate ships. So this is like a tweaked out Mustang, as you can see. It's kind of hard to tell because it's a little in the dark, but you can see it's got that same shape with the wings. I think it's a Mustang at least. Maybe it's something else, but it's got these sick thrusters on the back. And it just has this really cool looking aftermarket industrial. I don't even know if that's a Mustang, to be honest. It has all of the shape of a Mustang. There's just so much on top of it. And then we've got this one. Here's a Cutlass. That's also been tweaked for pirates. I believe they took off the front wings, which I think makes it look better, to be honest. But you could see the thrusters as expected on the back. They've got a little bit of a different shape to them. Extra thruster, I think, attached right there, which is cool. And then if you go jump forward actually to the video from last year, 2 years ago, you'll see that same Cutlass right here. So it's in the game to some extent. And it's looking pretty cool. I can't wait to see what they do with ships like this. It feels like they've got variants that they're playing around with, but there's just a whole freaking smorgasbord of possibilities when it comes to aftermarket ship models that they can make, and the way that we can get them in the game too, outside of just buying them. So yeah, definitely some stuff that they're keeping from us. They've said as much, and I think it can be expected. Something's got to be surprising. First one has glaive engines. The that first Mustang we were looking at, or maybe Mustang, Stang, Maystang. Oh, these back here. Ah, so they're probably, yeah, it's whatever gang that is that we just saw. Must just customize the hell out of these ships. And it looks like y'all get held up by them in some way during the story. I actually can't really tell what's going on here. Like, it definitely seems like somebody was showing up here expecting something, and they're getting ambushed by these people. Look, there's the Space AK. We didn't even notice it in this shot before. This guy's got the thing too. Holy crap. That just goes to show that that's what the feature content, the weapons content team was working on right here. God, it's right there in plain sight. Wouldn't it be easy to kill them? Well, a couple things. could have been EMP'd. It could be that they're turning themselves in as like an exchange for something else. It could be that they know that they won't be able to get away from whatever other ships are in the area. There are quite a few things that could have this sort of a scene play out. But whoever these guys are...
means that you're going to have to tangle with some very smart and reactive bad guys.
There's a Buccaneer. So yeah, they've already got other ships in the area.
Complete your mission.
And if you're in an M50... it's also got cool helmets, guys. You got a cool sticker on your PC, a helmet on your head. What am I going to do? Run away? Fight back? Ha! I don't have stickers. Smart bad guys. I mean, if you can get an M50 to surrender with just some rifles, then might be pretty smart. Fly the Eagles to Mordor. Wow. There's a reference. Thank you for that one, Tortle. Where's my music? We're supposed to be talking about 421. I keep wanting to call it 421. And by the time we get to 421, I'm going to hate myself for that. We're not going to get to... Actually, I can't say that. I'm just trying to freak people out with that one. You saying M50 isn't going to outrun that? Bro, I don't know what's going on in that scene. I don't know. I'm assuming there's some logical explanation for why this person is just chilling here. Otherwise, yeah, I guess whoever this person is probably should be fired from their job. Message of the day for the day, folks. You're currently not planning on a new 4.2.1 build today. As we progress with further content updates, we are planning to add as soon as Tuesday, along with starting to open up to all waves by end of week. Get out of here, CIG. They're trying to do 421 for June, which would mean 422 for July, 423 for August, and then 43 for September. Very, very curious how this is going to play out. Can you suggest a video idea? And if so, could you check chat for my messages? I've been waiting for someone to make this video. Post it in the chat. Always happy to hear an idea. Wouldn't Cutlass lose 2 size 3s if the front wings are gone? Possibly. And it might be that Cutlass is like, who knows what kind of Cutlass this is. This could be a Cutlass purely spent on... Yeah, it could be a dropship, right? I mean, I can't even tell what the heck's going on back here. Got some tiny thrusters right here. It looks almost like these aren't even functional thrusters anymore. And they've mainly just got thrusters here on the side. This could be a super weak pirate dropship just because they don't have anything else to use. Have they said what's going to be in the next big updates? Patches? That's what we're going to go over right now. Got to make a new event for the new cargo global events. Yeah. It's going to be easy to make activities, though. It's looking good. It's looking good. I'm excited for this one. Let's talk about it. So, one of the things people have been asking for is content more focused on not combat. I am pleased to say, or rather displeased to say, there's still combat in the new update coming out. But there's also not combat in the update coming out. We're going to have a big cargo focus. It's actually pretty similar to Supply or Die in how it's spreading out your choices. But you got four main ones. First, you got resource gathering, mining. Someday, once Maelstrom is in the game, salvage will also add on to this because you'll be able to just salvage iron from a spaceship and then turn that in. But this is saying players will be asked to source and gather X resources. We saw this while we were playing. Basically, you could just it tells you which moon or planet it is expected that you find a specific resource, and then you can go to that place and find that resource, mine it up as much as you want. There's no limit. There's no top limit or bottom limit as to what you can get. And honestly, it's not owned by anybody. So you can basically mine up what you want, pass it to a friend. That friend can go turn it in. He comes back, pass it back to his ship. You guys switch, you turn in the next load, and you just keep switching back and forth, and you can just rack up huge amounts of points doing this. All of these things that we're talking about here will add towards overall points for one of 4 different teams. That is Crusader, R-Corp, Person, or Microtech, and also yourself specifically. And then we'll get rewards based on both if we're on the winning team and how many points we put towards our team. So you get the chance to kind of progress on your own, but also you can see the event overall laying out ahead of you. I think I have some footage of this. Maybe will help us visualize it a little bit more. In Microtech, he tried to tell a friend about Star Citizen's server meshing tech. Oh, god dang it. And when you explained it to him, he didn't. No. When you explained it to him, he didn't believe it or understand it. Comparing it to zones in WoW or layering or sharding, and the only reference videos I could find were from when server meshing was in concept and testing or not working. Now that server meshing is working well, would you make a video showcasing what server meshing is, how it works, and proof of it working in game? No one has made a video like that with meshing in the live build, and many still don't believe Star Citizen accomplished this technological feat or even understand what it does. Your video style is the best format for people to understand. We literally casually play in a technological breakthrough and no one knows or understands. I mean, static server meshing is still done in other games. It's the dynamic server meshing that's really going to blow the lid off. It is impressive what we're already playing, and I agree with you. I'm just not sure how much it's worth highlighting it now that it's working in live versus it working in the PTU. You know, for anybody who I think is willing to, I think anybody who can see it working in the test servers should kind of get that it's working. But I like the idea for the video. Showing server meshing working. Right now I'm working on a what is Star Citizen in 2025 video. And I could put a segment in there that explains the server meshed value and what it brings to the game. I'm already talking about kind of how it's expanded the player count. To show it working, I think somebody like Morphologist's video on it would be pretty good, but that again was on testing servers. I will keep that in mind and see if there's a way to fit that in. Showing server meshing working. Solid idea, Hikorico. Thank you for that. Vast majority of humanity barely knows how to use the technology we have, and that's because engineers made it easy to use. True. Game's evolved a lot over the last year. It has. The end result is the most important part. If you can play with 1,000 other players on old tech, in the end, it does not matter for the player. True, but there are little things that change when you can run servers simultaneously. Like the difference between being able to shoot somebody who's in a different server versus having a little hitch when you move to that server is pretty crazy if they can make that happen. And their whole idea with dynamic is that you could have an entire capital ship be a server. We'll see if they hit that. What's up, Mihai? How you doing, dude? Just leaving work got you in the ear? How was your work today, my friend? Crossover boundaries like nothing every day, and it's dope, not to mention the player count increase. Crossing servers are shooting across them. I think it would be a good video to make the next time they do a server meshing update. So if we get like a Star Citizen Live, an Inside Star Citizen, maybe an increase to the player caps, keep an eye out. That's around the time that I'd probably try and put an update video out explaining it a little more. it is extremely hard to put out Star Citizen videos that are not specific to whatever the topic of the week is, like never before, because it's moving so fast. If you do that, then the algorithm starts to punish your videos, and that is a downward spiral. So I will look out for the opportunity to fit that one in. Migrated from monolithic game services to Kubernetes microservice-based architecture to the Kubernetes. All right, back to this. I'm sorry, we got a little distracted. Just trying to find the gameplay. Oh, crap. Okay, I know what happened here. It was all removed. All right. Okay, so I've got some stuff here, I think. No, those aren't here. Okay, I don't know where these clips are. I did have some though. What's going on? I just recorded this for you guys, like on Friday, was it? Okay, well, in the meantime, while I find that stuff, continuing on with this, because I don't have the video right now, we've got a couple other options as to how you can get the cargo. The whole point of this is just to get a specific resource. These are the resource gathering missions that they talked about last year. Next option is recovering cargo. Players go to retrieve cargo from a vessel that was broken down or been attacked, or retrieve cargo from a stolen stash. I have done one of these. There are different versions of them though. So within this option, you have the choice of going to a spaceship that's derelict, that's been busted, and you need to retrieve the cargo from that. I've also been sent to a kind of forward operating base location that's a little more outlaw themed, and that allowed me to steal back some of the cargo. I actually met up with another player there. Y'all might remember from Friday. Saturday, I think. I met up with another player while we were there and helped them load their Idris with a bunch of boxes. Okay. Guess I'm not gonna have the video clips for this one, unfortunately. But just like imagine it in your head. It was, oh, you know what I can do? We could just go look at the stream. Turtle Tommy, how you doing, man? Glad you got to hop in here for the beginning of the stream. Thank you for the well wishes. Hope you're having a good week, dude. All right, here we go. Ads. Okay. Hey, look, it perfectly covers up the camera, so it looks like it's just me streaming. So this is a deliver material donation one, and this was like what got me in. You have to do one specific mission to get into whatever company you want to work with, and even after you do that, you're not locked out of the other ones. You can always switch company if you want. So it's like a quick, easy 3 SCU delivery. You get 100,000 credits for it, which is kind of ridiculous. And so I took that and did that delivery, which was cool. And then we took another one. So this was a small ship needs help mission. I believe that is on here. Let's see. Yeah, so this is the support attacked ship. Defend a cargo ship from waves of pirates trying to destroy and rob the ship. This is another way to get involved, and I didn't even have to take a cargo ship. We were just fighting with the Hornet. So even if you do like combat and you want to get involved in this global event, you don't have to go and attack other people to get involved. You can literally go and play PvE, attack a bunch of NPCs, and still get credit for whatever it is you're doing towards the ultimate goal and towards the rewards you can get. Obviously, some people want to ruin people's days. This is just for the people who, want to still get PvE combat in. Here's the reward screen real quick. I know this is all low quality. You guys know the story. We are getting the capture card. But you can see that, like, you can easily switch teams and you get rewards at each sort of milestone here as you continue adding more boxes. Combat Gauntlet. So here's another resource thing that you can do. This was the one that sent me out to the outpost to go retrieve the boxes. And that's the recover cargo. So again, it can be at different locations, but as long as you are cool with the possibility of other players showing up there, there are a lot of locations they send you to, and the people that I saw at all of them were pretty friendly. And it's Wave 1 PTU, so we're not doing PvP anyways. We'll see how that goes in the long term. Besides that, there was also the, obviously, just regular old hauling contracts. Retrieve resources that have been processed and are ready to be delivered. This literally just sends you to a location, you pick up some boxes, you deliver them, case closed. And like, there are hundreds of locations around Stanton, so the chances that you're going to get camped repeatedly at doing this are a lot lower than they are, even I think in Supply or Die. Definitely in something like the Hathor facilities that had you like going to a specific place to try and get stuff. And that's another big thing with this that we need to really kind of remember, because this is going to disappear at some point. This is an event. All the other stuff was not. And that's probably part of why Elliot was so adamant to try and nail that home, because after the sandbox activities that have been coming out recently are meant to stay permanently in the game, this is a global event and it will probably only run for a short amount of time and then be gone. And then maybe you'll run again at another time and be gone. But it's not necessarily the kind of thing that's just always going to be around for you to go and do whenever you want. I think that'll actually add a nice contrast to the sandbox activities and make it a little more apparent to people that those locations are there for good and they don't have to be too worried about them not being able to go within like a month of them showing up. So that is mainly the event, and it's been interesting to see how different people are doing it so far. I've seen folks cargo hauling. I obviously, like I said, did the recovery stuff. I've seen people doing some mining, and I've heard that some folks are doing pirating, of course. So it is good to maybe have a buddy with you, but ultimately stick to the safer areas, the safer methods of doing this, and take the PvE combat missions. And I think you guys should be good on PvE and getting a little more diversified gameplay. We'll see how it goes. That's the first look at this new event. Wonder what they'll call it. Get your booty. Get your booty 4.2.1. Would you happen to have a video covering Wickelow's rewards and or how to get the Polaris? I do not. I'm sorry. I have not actually gotten that deep into Wickelow just yet. To be honest though, there's a lot of disappointment surrounding Wickelow right now. Yeah, it's in the 4.2.1 PTU. You feel like even with server meshing, the servers are still slow sometimes. Really thought it would change that problem. The frame rate's good. The database is slow. Like, the servers are healthy. I think our slowdowns are coming from the actual database. I'm not sure if that'd be the replication layer or possibly the entity graph itself. But yeah, that's been a problem ever since they brought in PES. They have a mission where you can find a C2 with cargo and actually fly the C2 away with the cargo. Nice. That's pretty cool. Get a little free ship out of it. Anakin, what's up? Been watching for a long time. First stream you've joined. Nice to have you. Keep me company while I do some planet-side mining with the Geo. How's the Geo mining these days? Is it performing well in 4.2? What do you mean by Wicklow disappointments? I think the RNG nature of Wicklow is a problem. And so somebody correct me if I'm wrong. Didn't they change the way that Wicklow's missions get handed out so that they're more localized now? Because I saw somebody complaining about that, but I thought they had fixed it. Thought that was remedied. Those some good peanuts. Still waiting for my Subnautica playthrough. Brother, you don't want to see that. That'd scare you off, man. If you guys saw my fear of that game, I don't think you'd trust me anymore. Yeah, the inventory system doesn't help much, does it? Geomining's good when the boxes don't glitch out. No longer take minerals after being emptied. Fantastic. Love it when things work. You guys remember the video that I made last year about combat? I keep thinking about that because I kind of feel like I wouldn't release a video like that now. Because it focuses on the problem in a way that I don't feel like it would. My problem was always the way everything was marketed with combat, even though it wasn't. And I don't even think that was a problem. I just kind of thought it was what was easy for them and was highlighting that. But man, it's so much more a topic now than it was last summer. It's one of my more prideful starts to a video, though. Listen to this. It's a summary of how much combat injected itself into the marketing for every update we had, almost, in the 3.x branch of updates.
It's just going to make the game, I think, feel a lot more like it's tying all the pieces together.
Some risks, and you might die and not make it out alive.
Melee combat does shit to 3.8.
Caterpillar mission is really cool.
You see in the bottom left-hand corner, I'm labeling each of the updates that these trailers are coming out for. Oh my god. I forgot how much it was. Okay. So yeah. That's why I'm actually surprised when people are like, it's turning into a combat game. Because it's always been pretty heavily combat. But like the reason for that is just because combat's what they made, you know? It's what was easy. Which is just, you know, the latest conversation. All the ones you've seen this patch had to turn in at Yella when you were at Crusader, so you think they got that fixed. Okay, good. So that's a good fix for the Wicklow stuff. Now they just need to make it so that you actually can like earn what you're working for, you know? I think they kind of called Wicklow the quote-unquote beginning of crafting or something like that, or crafting focused mission giver. I'm not confirming they actually said that. I might be making that up. But if they did say that, then it's obviously you want to kind of reward people with whatever it is they're trying to give materials for. The E word. See, but that's the thing. Amongst all of that combat, they're still building out the stuff that's going to make exploration gameplay, right? The resources, the actual scanning, taking a little while. The locations, the caves, the outposts, the derelicts. Like, that stuff's all getting included. It's just not their focus. Okay, localization is not remedied. Getting armor through description states armor set, you only get a piece. You may never be able to get the full set. Inventory turn on sucks. Okay, so there's also the fact that you need to be able to get the specific pieces you're looking for. See, that's the thing. I don't think they're heavily going into combat because they think that's what players want right now. I think that's where the disconnect is between CIG and players. Players think CIG is building the game for us right now. But they're not. I mean, we can call for them to do that. We can always say, hey, make this feature, work on this, build that content. But at the end of the day, the stuff that we're getting delivered isn't necessarily being made because they think, yeah, this is all they want to do. Because it's all they can do. Combat has to be polished and done for Squadron. Exploration does not. Exactly. Neither does hacking, most likely. Probably neither does in-depth medical system or even a big in-depth inventory system. They're probably just using the looting menu for inventory management in Squadron. So, like, yeah, a lot of this stuff doesn't have to be done. It is what it is, though. It is what it is. Shall we talk about the new ship, folks? The RSI Mantis is getting itself a little variant. Yes, another variant. We know this because... You know, I don't know officially how we know this, but I do have a couple references to it. Oh, this is from before. I do have a couple references to it from Con 42 earlier this year, and from... This is also from before. Invictus Week from Beijing earlier this year. So we're gonna talk for I'd take it. We're gonna talk about the Ronan, why you have to say that? You just distracted the hell out of me. We're gonna talk about this RSI Mantis variant and why we're getting another variant and sort of what it might be meant for. So, first of all, I like variants. I've been a little back and forth on it, but not gonna lie, I do kind of like the idea of just being able to flesh out the choice of ships in this game with more chassis without needing to balance entirely new hull designs and sort of like formats. I don't know what the proper words for that is, but like it's nicer to get a Mantis variant that might be meant for exploration instead of getting a brand new exploration ship that they have to go and do all of this work to maintain and keep balanced and all that stuff. Obviously, they have to balance it because the Mantis and whatever the Mantis's variant is not the same, but it makes it easier, I assume. And by exploration, I totally mean just like shooting other ships, you know. So seeing a variant of the Mantis come out is an interesting take. I have liked that they created a medical version of the Terrapin. I think that the Prowler utility actually does make some sense. The Saber Peregrine, I don't know. The Firebird, okay. The Peregrine, I don't know about that one. But overall, I do think that variants are kind of cool. I think they shouldn't go too crazy on them, you know, like have some decorum. And also don't forget about modules. We still do need to support modularity because that's something that was, I think, a stretch goal. Ultimately, though, I think the variants are going to help the game with diversity and the ability to obviously raise more money without needing to get the more dedicated ship artists involved. Yeah, I mean, it's not great to see variants when our ships that are in the backlog still aren't out. They need to definitely balance the deliveries of those two. I feel like there are some obvious choices of ships and vehicles that should be in the game right now. G12, anybody? Come on. But like with variants coming out, maybe I will see a more exploration-focused variant of the Apollo, which is kind of one of I think the coolest sounding ships that could be in the game. Maybe next year CIG can focus on content and ships, and we'll see performance and bug fixes. They need to update all existing ships to gold standard. I don't know. Definitely the older ones. Like, would it really make much sense to update something like the Corsair to gold standard right now? Or the Carrack? Instead of just like giving them, waiting until their proper gameplay comes in. No recent news regarding the Merchantmen, no. Are all these variants new hires? That was the original take. I do think that a lot of them are probably junior artists or people who are getting into the pipeline of the ship development. It really depends on the manufacturer, though. So here is a look at the original Mantis. This is the trailer that came out for it, in case you don't know what the heck this ship is.
The Mantis is one of nature's most adept predators.
They used to get real creative with their trailers. So RSI actually, their ship names were, I think, named after stars and star constellations. Don't know if they're still doing that, but I guess with the Meteor being called the Meteor, they are space-related things. Is there a Mantis constellation? I don't even
Its
know.
patience immeasurable. Its
They kind of got away from that a bit. All of the companies have gotten a little bit outside of their branding stuff from the early days.
focus indomitable. It waits silently for its prey. The adroit hunter positions itself for attack, identifying its unsuspecting target when it's most vulnerable. And then, steeled to the task at hand, the Mantis strikes. Its prey never stood a chance.
Yay! I don't even know if interdiction still works that well. They are working on it, though, making it work with server meshing and NPCs. So there's hope. There is hope. But that's just the Mantis. And I have seen people use the Mantis very well. Don't get me wrong. The ship is useful. And if you are pirating, you can do some really, really creative stuff with that. If you're a bounty hunter, you could also do some really creative stuff with that. And I think the gameplay itself is going to fit a lot into bounty hunting in the future. The interior of the ship is actually pretty nice size, in my opinion. It's 30 meters long, so it's kind of in that sweet gold spot that I talked about. And the interior itself is like pretty barren compared to what they're doing with the newer interiors now. Just a ton of space that probably could be fit into look at something like the Zeus with how efficient they were with their space. They could do the same here. I don't know if they're gonna do an update on the Mantis as they're doing the Meteor. I think I might have seen something about that. I think this would. Okay, yeah. So somebody here is saying it got an interior rework in 4.2.1. So that's new on the left. Yeah, that's new on the left. So yeah, they actually already. There you go. So they already made the interior more efficient, and that's good. That's good. I was just about to say, what would validate these variants coming in is getting the original Mantis updated as well. Make sure it's working. That's something that I was a little disappointed we didn't see happen with the. I want to say the Prospector didn't get updated with the Fortune. It's a little bit weird. Looks better. Looks more efficient. I really could see them making a Mantis as like a general purpose ship. Something almost in between like an Avenger Titan and a Cutlass Black, which is a weird spot to hit. I don't think we really have that too much though. You got the Nomad, but that's more cargo focused. That's not really general purpose. Do we have any like general purpose ships that hit that split between the Titan and the Black, or the C1? I could see this fitting in there. I don't think it'll have a QT dampener, to be honest. If they're making a variant of this ship, I don't think it's going to be another. I'm talking about the variant that they're coming out with, not the Mantis itself. I'm thinking it'll have a little bit of cargo, a bed, some weapons and missiles. Almost like a small Zeus. Something in the Reliant series. Maybe. Yeah, maybe this would be like a Reliant. Who makes the Reliant Misk? Let's see. Reliant Mako. About 30 meters wide. 1 to 2 crew, 0 SCU. Could be something like this, yeah. This could be a step up from the Reliant, or something similar to the Reliant. I like that. And it would be probably the core. No, they'd probably go after the Tana. Make it a little bit more cargo focused, give it a tiny bit of SCU. Yeah, I bet the Meteor is something that you might consider next to the Reliant Tana. Probably a little bit better considering the way that they build their ships now. We'll have to see. Some of the interesting things I've seen about this ship is actually a couple of years ago, Stoic Sunbro here made a RSI Meteor himself. He was working on his own model of it, and it actually... Stoic! It's not bad, dude. This actually looks pretty similar to the interior that they came up with. I will drop this link in the chat for you guys, actually, if you want to check this out. Good work, though. He made it to compete with the Aegis Vanguard Harbinger as a long-range heavy fighter. And this very well could end up being a long-range heavy fighter. Like, I'm hoping it's a general-purpose ship, but they could make this very combat-focused. Yes, it's getting an interior change, just to get up to date with their current metrics for how an interior should work, I think. So here is the first mention of the Meteor I can find from CIG themselves. This is Jared at the Con 42 convention that took place in Belgium, I think it was, or Germany. Might have been Germany. Somewhere in that area, where he talked a little bit about the Meteor coming in.
But I did get 2 ships that are coming this year that started with ideas from me, and I'm really happy. One of them you may have heard mention of we released the Chinese exclusive SCL to the YouTube channel yesterday. If you watched it, we revealed the name of the Meteor. The Meteor is a ship coming later this year, and that's been my baby. They've allowed me to help. They've allowed me to sit over computers and be like, wouldn't it be cool if that goes there? Like, no, Jared. I'm like, what if it goes there? Okay, we'll do that. It's like this.
So there you go, asking about the ship interior. Blame Jared. Don't actually.
John Crew and Ben Curtis and everybody on that team has been real kind enough to let me have a part in that ship, a small part. They're still, if they're doing 99% of the work, I'm doing half of 1% of just. But that's my biggest one to answer that question. I'm super excited about it, and I've got a picture of it right here. Let's see if I'm still employed by the end of the day. Well, I have one question.
All right, so that was the first mention, and then we can check out the where he actually the video that he's talking about that he referenced about it.
Just name for me one ship that's coming this year that folks might not know about.
Let's go for the RSI Meteor.
The RSI Meteor.
Meteor.
What is it?
Yeah, I'm just
Show it punches above its weight. Get another drinking.
RSI Meteor just
Oh God.
drops a Macho Man elbow from the top rope down. All right, cool. The RSI Meteor.
Yeah.
So look forward to that at some point later this year, and I want to see the Reddit thread where people are wondering I want to see what they can evoke from the name and manufacturer alone, and see who's right.
Yeah, I mean, it definitely sounds like something combat focused, so we'll see. I think it's probably general purpose with the combat slant, something like the Reliant Tana, or kind of like the Zeus. And when I say like a combat slant, I don't mean like a fighter. I just mean it can defend itself better than, say, an Intrepid or a Spirit. You know, it's more RSI in design than it is Crusader. Obviously. So there's our new ship. Expect to see it probably sometime in the next couple weeks. But that's not a confirmation. I'm just guessing. Okay. Not so sure Disco isn't that much into combat ships. You're right about that. That's fair. He is not into combat ships. I don't know, it just seems like it's really fitting to be an interceptor. How long is the 325A? "27 meters. So like maybe this is like RSI's answer to the 325. You'd laugh if it's a data running ship. Bro, if they brought in a data running ship, I'd be excited because that means they better be bringing in data running. Starlancer is his most anticipated. Confirmed then, the RSI Meteor is a passenger transport ship. We've all been boofed by the name. They mention a heavy fighter here? Let's see. Holy crap. Okay, you're absolutely right. So, just a little add-on here to confirm. They did talk about the Meteor, most likely the Meteor, during the concept art talk during Star Citizen Live earlier this year.
I wasn't wearing my glasses. Daniel,
They look so similar.
what are you working on right now?
I look similar like Alberto.
No, without my glasses, I can't see crap.
Okay, fair enough. Okay. I'm working on a fighter.
On a fighter?
Yes.
A heavy strike fighter?
Yes, sir.
Heavy strike fighter?
And it's based
I bet it is.
on the Mantis.
Okay. Good call. Who mentioned that? There, Star Mage. Solid find, dude.
Based on the RSI Mantis.
Yes.
So taking that beautiful, gorgeous,
Amazing.
sleek
Yes.
silhouette of the Mantis and giving it a new life.
Give it a new life, a new look. Hopefully better look.
Whoa, big
Shots fired.
Old,
Yeah,
original designer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Shout out to
Now-
the original designer, we know it.
Yeah. Now, there's a reason we're not using the word variant. It's not. It's not a variant in the traditional sense. It's you're going to see it like you could see like you'll see car manufacturers who share a lot of the same language and stuff. This is something like the kind of like the Centurion and the Atlas platform, not the Atlas mech.
Yeah.
Whatnot, the Ballista, things that are built on the same platform. This is a new vehicle based on the Mantis platform, so it will share a lot of the same shape, language, and stuff with the Mantis.
I mean, like, whatever we're going to call it, this is basically the same thing as like the Prowler Utility, the Terrapin Medical, the Asgard. Even the Asgard is a little, yeah, all of these are pretty similar. Actually, I guess I would take the Terrapin Medical out of that, but I would say the Fortune, the Asgard, the Utility, the Peregrine, the Firebird. This is in line with all of that kind of stuff, and it will be building on the Mantis platform. A heavy fighter. I would have hoped for something a little more creative. A heavy fighter. Yay. Like, even an interceptor would have been cool. All right. There's that. Taking a lot of ships that maybe didn't sell so well and trying to make them into something more attractive. Hey, man, if that brings more attention to them and people use them more and they update the older models more, then I guess that's a win. Kind of. Kind of, sort of. A little bit. Stand by, guys. RSI has a heavy fighter. Well, now they want to compete with themselves, obviously. Hey, what's up, Goslow? Is it Friday yet? Gameplay around quantum sharing is really boring since people can just hide in Grim X. Quantum sharing? The Meteor will have an interior like the Vanguard? That would be pretty crazy. Especially considering this guy thought that up years ago and already had the name picked and everything. Like, that's wild. Oh, supposed to see what else we're talking about today. Yo! Thanks for subbing up, Keeper of Wings. All right, we're going to talk about social apps. What they have planned for social apps coming to Star Citizen. One of the big things that we could really use this year. Will we get them? Who knows?
So it's been it.
That's loud. I'm not going to cover this entire thing. We're mainly going to talk about the actual app itself. Played some Stormbreaker over the weekend, but could not find any keys or anything. Anyone else have better luck? I didn't even try it over the weekend. I was at Hathor. No updates on the Ironclad. Olsen Coop, have a good one, dude. Enjoy your meeting. keys are being farmed from the ASD locations. What are the keys? These are the keys that like you get from waiting through that cycle, and you have to print a key and then leave the ASD facilities, or is this a different kind of key? What kind of key is it? What's in the box? When do I think we get base building? I think we see base building in the EPTU Q4 this year. And I say think, not confirm. If you want confirmation, go to the Astro Historian. He knows all the secrets. How you doing, by the way, dude? Good to see you in chat. It is very annoying that they lack the social features. Toes. Very annoying. Maverick! Thank you, my friend, for subscribing on Twitch. I appreciate you. Hope you're having a lovely day, dude. How they're going to solve base persistence through different shards and servers. They basically said that if you can do everything except for attack another base, unless you're on the same shard. Or from different shards. So if you do try to physically assault a base, you'll get transferred to the shard the base is on. Otherwise, you can use things like player shops, refineries, mining stuff, all that kind of stuff, even if you're on a different shard. That's what it sounds like they're trying to do. Your best luck spot for getting him is the data collection room. All the keys you got came from that room. The keys for Lazarus, okay. And that does come from you having to go through that whole timed cycle, right? What's up, Razy? Still would like them to go away from global chat, do local chat, area chat. Yeah, I think they really need to get to that at some point, for sure. Gotta split up the chats. Split the chats! Alright. Let's talk about social universes. The most oppressive kind of universe for a gamer. Star Citizen's social tools are pretty bad. They're like certified trash. Long story short, the systems were... Excuse me. Wow, excuse me. Long story short, the systems we are using were made for a game that hosted 25 player servers. And really didn't have too much of the actual multiplayer in mind when it was made. That sucks. It's really showing its age right now, and they've like updated it over the years, but it's been not great. So they showed us recently some concepts of what they're working on, and they've explained it through words. I know most people don't care about words, but I figure for the folks who are like looking to see a comprehensive view of where this is going for people just wanting to kind of be able to communicate with other folks more. We'll be going over today, looking for group features, new voice chat stuff, reputation system, the ability to make beacons and rate other players based on their beacon performance, muting, blocking, highlighting, orgs, factions, all that kind of stuff. Again, this is a deep dive. This is going to be a little bit slow. We're going to get into some details for sure. But hopefully this is a little bit helpful in terms of informing of what's coming up and how the social experience of Star Citizen is hopefully going to pick up with the actual gameplay experience as it does continue to improve. I don't think any of these things are particularly close. We do know that the UI team was working on something surrounding this at this time last year. God only knows what that could possibly mean. They might have just been working on concepts. I don't know, but this is definitely something that we need to see soon. And when it comes to like the needed features for this game in terms of feature development that they hopefully are going to be pushing the second half of this year, I really hope this is one of them. Let's dive in.
Hello, CitizenCon. Hope you're doing all right. And Ben, you forgot to cover the Swedish before in your earlier introduction, so tjena.
Ah, nice. All right, we need some more. Let's invite Assistant Design Director, JJ, to the stage.
Making people read.
My spot's quite far away.
Yeah, no, you walk it up. Walk up.
Elzendale, how you doing? We're gonna skip forward a little bit here. Here we
Your
go.
one-stop shop for all of your friends and group gameplay. Now, this is the new and improved friends list. So you'll notice, sadly, one of our oldest friends that we all have is missing, though, and that's ATC. Sadly, our friendship has ended with ATC.
What? I'll have no friends at all then.
So this is now just a dedicated space for your real friends.
This is what got everybody excited, though. Up here is the freaking block list.
So you're now going to be able to see what those real friends are doing with richer presence information. So giving you better awareness of where your friends are, what they're doing, or if they're not on, when they were last seen. And then you'll also be able to reflect your own status. So you can let friends know if you're away, don't want to be disturbed, or if you just want to hide offline for a while.
Leave me alone.
Another key upgrade is synchronizing with Spectrum as well. So you'll be able to see friends that are in Spectrum itself, Arena Commander, or just chilling on the launcher. And that also means that you can accept and receive invites to and from Spectrum even while you're offline. And throughout this presentation, any functionality that is shared between the game and the web and the launcher, we're aiming to synchronize across.
Now, as was stated on by Razor in the chat, they are starting to test Spectrum chat in the PTU. So this bridging of services between the website and the back end of Star Citizen overall is starting to happen, however slowly. Hopefully it continues at this pace or a faster pace.
Across all. And speaking of synchronizing, when we have multiple characters, your friends will be shared across all of them too.
Nice. So some people are real socialites. I know, I've seen them. They have a lot of friends. I'm talking multiple pages and pages of friends. What are we doing to help management of huge friends list?
Nice humble brag, Ben. Well, in fact, we are giving you the ability to add notes to your friends list so you can remember, hey, this is that cosplayer that I met at CitizenCon 2954. Or maybe it's JJ's super weird username. This is JJ. Also, you can add people to a favorites list, meaning that the people that you interact with most in the game are always going to be shown at the top of your friends list for your convenience. Additionally, we're moving the voice chat into the social app. And, well, why? Who are you going to call? That's the question. You're going to call your friends. You're going to call your partner.
Yeah, the notes section is already super helpful. I mean, these are the kind of things where people are like, oh, why doesn't CIG just have super basic stuff in the game? This is them. A friends list where you can add notes to somebody. And I do really hope, like, what they didn't talk about here was actually improving the VoIP system. They kind of touched on it briefly here. But then they mainly talked about the FOIP system, which is like the face tracking stuff, which is cool, but I think everybody really just wants to know when we're going to have reliable voice chat and proximity and the helmet and all that kind of stuff.
List, meaning that the people that you interact with most in the game are always going to be shown at the top of your friends list for your convenience. Additionally, we're moving the voice chat into the social app. And, well,
dude, look at how much money he has. Probably hacking.
Well, why? Who are you going to call? That's the question.
It does seem that the voice chat does seem to be working more consistently. Like, it still goes out, but it's actually working at times instead of just never working ever at all.
You're going to call your friends. You're going to call your party. So this is where it should live.
Seem to have got a lot of UEC there as well, Ben.
I swear to God, I didn't dupe any cargo. This is just my personal allowance.
Yeah,
Sure.
All right, so that's all cool for your close buddies, but the one thing that always happens when you meet people is that some of them aren't nice. Abusers, pad rammers, active griefers, you know? Currently, we can't do anything about that in the game. What are we doing to help the situation?
So in addition to the friends list, we're also now going to have a block list. And we like to think of block people as reverse friends. They're just people that you really don't want to talk to anymore. So what we're trying to do is we're doing something called blackholing them from communications. So you can't see them talk, and they can't see you talk anymore. And not only for communications, whenever you see some of these other systems we're about to talk about where you can group up, we're going to make...
That's interesting that they can't see you talk. That seems like it could be strategic, right? If you wanted to transport cargo from somewhere and make sure that pirates couldn't see you, then you could just block all the pirates that you can. I guess the list of players won't be public anymore. But once you come across pirates, you could block them so they can't see or hear you communicate. I wonder how that'll work. I wonder if this also counts for like proximity chat. Could you block somebody in an outpost so you can stealth around them without them hearing you? That would still, obviously, I like the idea of being able to block people when you need to. I just wonder about the complications of it. Yeah, people will go to, I mean, I've already seen people do some really messed up stuff at Star Citizen just to like get on people's nerves and harass them.
Make it harder for you to see each other as well. Now, we also have a much requested hostiles list for people who have made a real enemy of you as well.
The KOS list is finally making its way in.
Oh, yeah.
So this makes me wonder if they were going to get rid of the idea of a player turning red just because you shot them, or if there's going to be another status effect called hostile, where if you put somebody on that list, even if you come across them in the game and there has not been any sort of attack between you two, they automatically show up as red on you, on your HUD, kind of thing. Must be how it works with this.
You'll also be able to add notes here as well, just so you can remember that person I blocked 2 years ago, you remember why, because you're going to forget. And then for those situations where someone really wants to go the extra mile to be a super mega ass, you can report them to us, and we'll deal with them for you.
All right, so now I have my friends list up to date. I can find my friends easily based on rich presence in real time, and I'm ready to go on an adventure. But for that, I need a party. The party is at the core of the social experience when you're heading into a mission, meeting with other players, or whether they're a friend or not. Our party system is very bare bones at the moment. It does have some cool features, but what are we planning to improve parties?
Yeah, so as you said, it does have some cool features like party launching, the party markers, quantum syncing. It's all good stuff, but let's take a closer look at the new features of the party list.
Just improving the UI is good enough.
With server meshing, we are right now at a unique opportunity for us. So we already support large parties, but we want to do this well. We have been seeing what you do in the tech previews, and people have been partying up in hundreds.
100+ people in one ship? Come on.
And that's all right. We just want to make sure that we're adding better support for this, like search functionality, making it easy to find people in your
search.
Party. Also, just like we did with the friends list, we're adding rich presence here as well. But for the party, you're going to want more real-time gameplay-related info, like if someone's downed or dead or maybe offline for some reason. A big thing, though, is the ship and seat breakdown. So you will see. Yeah, maybe that's worth it.
So that sounds like something that comes with engineering, with the role assignments, because they're going to make it so you can have permissions for all the people in the specific seats in your ship.
You will see. Yeah, maybe that's worth it. So you will see all the vehicles that your party members are in, as well as the seat that they are in. This will give you great situational awareness and allows you to coordinate better than ever before. It's essentially a mini fleet manager.
Yeah, this is kind of what they do in like extraction shooters where you have to ready it before you go in on a mission. It'd be cool to be able to be in a ship like a Hammerhead and have everybody ready up so you know you can go on an approach or something. It would also be cool if that is across multiple ships too. You almost don't even have to call out over voice comms to do it.
Okay. Oh.
No, this stuff is not 4.2.1. This is future. This is beyond that. We went over 4.2.1 stuff already today.
So there's going to be more improvements as well. So you're going to be able to control permission for invites. So only your leaders and assistant leaders can actually invite people. So it's no longer an absolute free-for-all. And we're adding an absolute MMO staple as well, which is
looking for group.
So as we add more and more challenging group gameplay, you're going to be able to coordinate a lot better. And while we're talking about group play, and maybe it's unwanted group play in this case, we're improving the quality of life for our streamers as well. So we'll no longer have a shard player list. We're going to be obscuring things like your on.
Are they announcing streamer servers? I thought it wasn't time yet.
Screen name and location and so on, just so you're a bit harder to find while you are streaming. And that's the full friends and party tab.
Pretty cool.
It's a party for the eyes.
Honestly, it's nice to have a new friends list. The friends list is just awful in the game right now. Like, it lags the Mobi-Glass so much, but the more interesting stuff that's getting into more kind of custom, actually advanced social tools, you're looking at a looking for group app.
The Party Finder. So, the Party Finder, it's a dynamic system that's going to make it easy for you to find interesting and engaging gameplay. It's basically player-powered matchmaking. So, if you are looking for more players, just go in here, advertise your party, give it an informative name like Ben has done here.
Space Combat Fun Times.
And you could even set things like a specific contract that you want to play, or roles that you're looking to fill. Maybe you need gunners, engineers, pilots.
Meat shields.
Maybe that.
This is not something you really see people talk about too often. A lot of people look at this as a game that is multiplayer, but they want to play solo. And I do wonder how many folks would be willing to go a little out of their comfort zone to try playing with another group of people. Like, how much friction can they remove from that experience? A lot of people don't even want to talk to other folks to play, you know? So can these people group up and get into a mission and do that mission together to get whatever rewards they need without needing to really communicate all that much? Or is it going to be kind of hands-on?
You could also limit the number of members. You might want to do some, again, specific content. So you want to do with a set number of members in the party, or you might want a tight-knit group. That's something that I would like very much. Maybe you just don't want to split the contract rewards, right? So once you have that information, then it's time to list your party.
And then people are going to be applying to join your group, which is kind of like a reverse invite. You're applying to the party, you're joining yourself, you're getting involved.
You're the reverse guy today.
I'm stuck in one gear. So you can then request, the people that are requesting, you can then look at their information and you decide on whether or not you want to accept or reject them, just so you can tailor your group to the kind of gameplay that you're trying to do. Then, on the other side, finding a party should be easy too. So all of those super cool things that Gabriel just mentioned, so like setting your group name, roles needed, party size, and so on, you're going to be able to use those as filters to find the right group. And this is all purely because we want you to find the kind of group gameplay that you want to engage in. And it's for all types of players. FPS combat, racing, beacons, roleplay, eating burgers at Whammers, finding cool vistas. It should always be easy to find action, things to do, and people to play with.
So I can create a party from a couple friends. I can party launch into the game on the same shard. Then I can share my party with the Party Finder. And other people will want to join up. Now we're talking. But I'm curious, as we're going to get bigger shards, let's say that.
There's so many unspoken details here, like how rewards are going to be split. How do hostilities work when you party up? How does reputation get transferred between people? It's like the app itself, it might be some development timeline for them. But I also look at this and I think about how many different systems they need running in the background to make this a possibility and how much that complicates the actual timeline. Abdi, good to see you in chat, my dude. Thanks for shouting him out. How you doing, man? Salivating at the new social UI like me. Dude, the best parts coming in a little bit.
Already. How will we improve communication? It's very much of a mess right now. Our chat's very bare bones, and voice comms, we never really know if they work.
Well, let's chat about chats.
Yeah.
So, we're adding options for you to customize the chat window, giving you the power to make the chat your own. We're also adding chat tabs.
We're bringing back tabs.
We're bringing them back from other games. And this means that you can set up customizable views, filtered for any area of the game that you are interested in. And Ben, you had a UI team make a little mock-up of some of the other functionality we're adding, right?
I sure did. I also got them to add the combat login.
That's sweet. How kind of you. So, first off, as we can see here, we're making slash commands actually useful. So no longer just chicken dancing and flexing. It's going to be able to help you send messages to party, to proximity chats with say and /yell commands, as well as sending DMs to other players.
I think they took out slash commands for now. It doesn't seem like emotes are working in the live game at the moment. A local chat option would be nice. Hell yeah. I mean, they should go all the way down to like the outpost you're at. They didn't really talk about that here. I thought it was a great opportunity to mention that, like, yeah, we're going to localize chat a little bit more, at least between systems, planets, moons, possibly outpost cities. We're watching a video about the upcoming social tools for Star Citizen. What's up, Jax? Good to see you.
What the hell, Ben? You said you were going to take
Hey, you wanted a real
Oh, your
example.
emotes are working? Okay.
Sure. So, another thing we're adding is that we're giving you the power to share information more easily via links. So, first off, here we have contract links, taking you to the contract manager for that specific contract.
Cheesecake!
Yes, cheesecake.
Yeah, cheesecake is maybe better than Xenofret. Also, we are adding star map links. Let's have a look at what that looks like. This means that you can click the link and it will...
This is like so close to data running.
take you to the exact location in the star map, making it easy for you to group up. Another thing we're adding is item.
Like, it's kind of, it'd be wild to think about how many locations there will be in this game. And if you can put down specific points and then hyperlink them in chat like this, it's going to be, yeah. If they can truly get data to become a commodity and also have that tie into their chat system, that's going to be pretty wild. If they do that, though, then I do wonder if that'll work between systems, because the whole idea of Star Citizen is that communication is actually locked to each star system, and you have to get buoys between the systems to communicate messaging. Can I get a historian check on that one, just to make sure that's correct? Pretty sure that's how it works, though, so I do wonder if they're going to limit that at all from this chat or not. Brigadier! What's up, my dude? Pray they don't let links go to external stuff? No, I don't think they'll do that. That would be freaking wild. That would be insane. They'd be on the hook for so much, I feel like. Since you're in Turkey, have you seen any fighter jets roam in the sky? I mean, there are usually jets flying around, just training patterns and stuff, but no. Not any sort of large amount. What was that? The communication in the game. Do you know if they're still sticking to the idea that comms don't travel between systems? Because I wonder, with this being what seems to be people sending links of data to each other through chat, what if they limit that it doesn't work between star systems? Wouldn't Spectrum bypass that? I mean, like talking on Spectrum on the website? They do, but they're done through delay. Oh, I see. Not real time. I wonder if that will factor into the chat system at all in this game. If it doesn't, that would kind of break the idea of data running, eh? I'm sure they'll come up with some gamified version of data running that's not quite as cool as we would hope.
Exact location in the star map, making it easy for you to group up. Another thing we're adding is item links, and, well, you'll see why you want to link items in our Crafting Your Home presentation tomorrow. Lastly, we're adding player links to make it easy for you to connect your friends with one another, right? So while we're talking about comms, Sean just messaged us about VoIP. Do you want to invite him to the party?
I sure can, Gabe. We do need an expert to discuss VoIP and FOIP anyway. So you guys give us some air. Remember, hot mics.
Okay. I'm going to skip this because this is just VoIP and FOIP, and really it's just that it tracks your face a little better. Which is like, it's cool, but it's not what we're talking about today.
We've introduced the guide.
All right, the guide system is the first part of this social set of tools that I think is really going to expand gameplay rather than just help or be quality of life.
System on the web a while ago, and this allowed new players and experienced players to match up, basically for a new player to get training and learning the ropes. Wait, are we bringing it in the game?
Yeah, of course we are. So, ultimately, we want to encourage you all to help one another. And it's very important for a game as large and as complex as Star Citizen is. And while we're improving how we teach you the game, it's irreplaceable to have another player by your side showing you the ropes. So we want to keep the guide types from the website, because there's already a lot of good ones there. And they already cover a very wide variety of gameplay. And as we add more game systems, more guide types are going to get added too. And base building's a great example of that, which is a little teaser there for tomorrow.
No teaser, your tease.
Oh, yeah. But now, how do you become a guide? So now there's going to be a list of requirements that you've got to meet. And this list will require you doing content like contracts, beacons, or many other things as well. And ultimately, once you've checked that list, you can then opt in to become a guide. And really, we've done this because we wanted becoming a guide to really mean something, both to yourself, to other players, so they can rely on your experience. But why become a guide? Out of the goodness of your own hearts?
No.
Cookies!
You want to get paid. Some of you love to help.
Money.
And a lot of you already are. But while I don't have time to get into specifics today, there are going to be rewards available for those of you that do put the effort in.
Because we like to get paid.
You do like to get paid. But ultimately, we want you to want to help.
All right. So I've been doing a lot of guide stuff, and I've reached a guide level in a field that I like doing tons of content on. Or I'm a new player, and I need training in a key area. How does this all tie together? Let me answer my own question. It ties into beacons.
Beacons. Is AAK still in the chat? This is huge. Beacons are freaking huge. It's actually, I want to go back to something that doesn't really have to do with the tools in UI. I guess this kind of does, actually. This is a video from back in August of last year. Beacons potentially could be like player-made missions. Like you make a contract, you tell a player, I need this much material picked up from here, and I need it shipped here. And that is the idea there is like, you could basically be an explorer who found an amazing deposit of resources. And like, you don't really want to sell the data, you want to benefit from those resources, but you don't have a cargo hauling ship. So you put out a cargo hauling beacon for somebody to come and pick it up and take it to a place and sell it for you. That's basically a player-made contract for somebody else. So I'm going to play here where they talked about this in the past. I think this was right. Oh yeah, this is the part.
On the list, and just all we can ask for is patience while we try to get to everything. I've said it before. We have the same conversations you do. The same exact.
It's and I know.
Yeah, this is where he talks about beacons.
Hauled by other players.
Sorry, we're going to get there.
Okay. Player contracts and job boards. Will players ever be able to set up contracts to have cargo or items hauled by other players?
So we do have player beacons. And I know what that current state of that is, but that is
it, Nick?
a system.
What is the current state? Go ahead, admit it.
Worked perfectly.
It's a feature, but that's something which we. It's like the economy. It's
non-existent. Oh, sorry.
System.
All right. So he explains further with the beacons here.
That's just
love to hear that
have
part.
fun to make fun.
So just take it as us being continue with whatever we were talking about. I've forgotten now. Player contracts.
So to answer the question, Elliot, the beacon system is something which provides for players to contract other players. And it's a system we will be looking to expand upon in the future. And personally, I think that this side of the economy is fundamental, given that we are having a hybrid economy. So player-driven systems.
Yeah, that's Space Tomato. Clip it. Fundamentally said.
Yes.
And we do.
Yeah,
we do clip it. We go back to it all the time. It's funny he says that because we go back to that clip all the time. It's very relevant. Not just for player contracts, but also the comments he's making about the economy there. Like, a lot of people don't know that this sort of sandbox gameplay of working together with other players and specifically using these beacons is a pretty important part of the game. So now with that kind of prelude, here's the explanation of where they do want to go with it from the people designing the UI side of things.
Trust and rating systems, or as we say internally, beacons, but actually good. Yeah. So beacons have been in the game for a while, but we are juicing them up.
Yeah, so let's look at how we're juicing them up. So first off, tying into the guide stuff, we're adding a new type of beacon. So guide beacons. It means that if you are a guide, you'll be able to respond to them. If you need a guide, you broadcast them. And if you need a guide, you can be certain that whoever responds to them knows their stuff. So this is obviously good for new players needing to learn the game. But even seasoned players like yourselves, you're going to have a great use for this because there's always something new to learn in the verse. So you just post your question, you broadcast it out, the guides get alerted, they can accept it, contact you, and once you have the information you need, you take the beacon down, get out there, and use your newfound knowledge. So obviously there's many different types of guide beacons here, but we're also adding more categories to service beacons.
Now all this beacon stuff sounds fine, but let's be honest. I have a friend, not me, but every time they use a beacon, they get ganked. How are we going to do? What are we going to do to make sure that whoever is answering my call for help is trustworthy?
Are you sure that's your friend and not you?
Toes.
Yeah, okay. So we've got a few ways of tackling this, and one of them is actually...
Drazen! Yo, dude. You got that 54 months Prime sub, man. Thank you, Drazen. Appreciate you, my dude. Been here since the OG days. PII, the garden, launch sequence. Hope you're having a good week, my friend. Hope it's not too humid down where you are. The problem with all these game systems to talk about is that they are being planned out individually. The project management at SC is so horrible. Individually from each other? Or what do you mean? What was they used to call the economy system years ago? Yeah, they called it Quantum. Not Quanta. Quanta is not the name of the system. It's called Quantum. The system itself contained Quanta AI. But yeah, that was their overall simulation for the game. And it's turned into Star Sim, they say. But we'll see just how much of that original concept did last through the transformation. Re-understanding of the background simulation. We shall see. Yeah, you hit it, Roscoe.
Actually subsidizing the beacons. So guilds contribute rewards to the payouts on service beacons, and we'll get to guilds shortly. But that could be money, reputation, or potentially other rewards as well.
Because we like getting paid.
And ultimately, that keeps the cost down for the people that need help, but rewards the people that are helping. And this actually finally makes it viable to do beacons for whatever profession you like to do. Medics, refuelers, and repairers, just to name a few. But if you misbehave and you fail the beacon, there's no payout for you. So that's one incentive.
And then what stops a person from just saying you misbehaved and failed at the last second? I guess that would reflect on them. I don't know. Dangerous rating systems and stuff. This is not coming with 421, no. This is future stuff.
The other is that we're adding a proficiency rating. Responders can earn that rating by successfully completing service beacons. You go from bronze up to gold, which indicates your level of experience and success, and only the top few will be able to earn platinum status.
I was going to say, I want to go to platinum. What is this gold?
Which essentially puts you on a leaderboard and marks you as one of the best playing in your region. So when broadcasting, responders offer to help, and you'll see their rating. Then you'll get to pick who you want to help you out. Then let's say you're not very good, or you like to misbehave a lot. Failing a beacon will result in losing rating, and then repeat offenders will enter the red zone.
The bald zone.
And then only really desperate people are going to take you on. We're making the system much more robust to the point of automatically determining success or failure. So we're putting a lot of focus on making the system difficult to exploit as well in the many different ways that it can be right now. So criminal types, like you, Benoit, will have to get much more creative.
So yeah, that's all great from the beacon broadcaster's perspective, right?
It's going to be interesting to see how this is this will be a really big addition. And I'm wondering how it'll work right when it releases versus how it'll work later on when the game is like full on healthy and actually running stuff. Yeah, the beacon could be a trap too. The rating system's going to have to be, I don't know. It's going to have to be hard to like really change someone's rating just from one thing. But also you kind of need to. I don't know. There's a real balancing act there. All these things need to work in coercion with each other. There's not a point seeing this implemented if you don't have a working economy underneath the whole game. Like now we do hauling, but it has no effect on the game. You just do it for money. It does not affect the world around you. Well, that's what the I can shoot you this video, the one we were just looking at. This is the economy guy. So they do talk a little bit about how they're working on the economy. I don't think they're not building that stuff also. This is the economy guy. He's also talking about creating the beacons. And these guys are the UI guys talking about creating the beacons. Actually, this guy's a gameplay focused guy. So it feels like there's some cross-pollination between these different groups on these systems. What keeps an org from spam raiding each other? Don't know. Maybe it has to be from unique people. If guild means things like bounty hunters guild, then the player would also get a negative rep to their overall bounty hunter rep too. Yes, so this is not including the rep that you're going to make with factions in the game. We're going to look at that in a second. Vaporware until implemented, so far all they've done is make it harder to determine who's flying ships. Sounds neat though. 100% vaporware till it's implemented. I mean, none of this actually exists. Who would choose you to come back from a bad rating? I wonder if there are things in the game you can do to improve that maybe. We saw that demo 7 years ago. No, that's not this guy. You're thinking of Tony Z. This is Eric? Nick. This is Nick Wardle. Tony Z created the concept for Star Sim, but he's not actually making it. You guys are, I think. Continuing on with the beacons.
Pretty cool stuff. But they're not the only ones getting ganked. The beacon responders, they're also in a bad position. So what are we doing for the beacon responders? Well, we want to give you some idea of the risk you're putting yourself into by responding to the beacon. So we're adding trust rating. So if we look at this person who's looking for some help to repair here, well, you can see their last 5 recent beacons that they've broadcasted. They have 2 neutral ones. Something's gone wrong, but it wasn't necessarily bad or illegal. Then they have a red one. That's bad. They have been up to something. But they have also been successful with 2 beacons. So, well, at least you can assess the situation before going into it. It ensures your safety when doing a good deed.
All right, I guess if there's like 4 reds and a green, then you're probably not going to go there. If there's 3 greens, a red, and then another green, you probably assume it's not a person who's like trying to kill people. All right, maybe they do. Maybe they only target certain people. I don't know. That's a better way of doing it, for sure, showing a history rather than just showing the last thing or just a single rating. More information, better. Working demo from Tony. Yeah.
And yeah, I think that's it for beacons. So, well,
we've got AJ? One more big thing I guess we need to talk about, right? Which we're really excited for.
Oh,
Factions.
yeah. Look at that. That is exciting. I like this one.
Did someone mess with the slides?
In Sweden, we call this a double barrel.
Well, it's not time for lunch just yet. So, who would like to talk about player organization?
I did not realize how much people don't like player orgs until more recently than this, but I do think this is also a really good change for the game. I like player orgs. I think orgs are a cool idea and make a lot of sense, and the tools to work with them in the game right now are abysmal. They aren't even existent. So I think this was all good.
That's all right.
It sounds like we've got a few people in orgs in the house today. But Benoit, you talked about this a while ago, right?
It's been 84 years.
Benoit was on the stage talking about the first org system back in like 2016 or something like that. Kind of ridiculous. People hate orgs. People think orgs are all very similar. So if they have a bad experience with one org, they think all the orgs are like that, and it kind of colors their view of what orgs actually do in game. A lot of folks resent orgs for taking over locations and doing things that impact their gameplay.
Player, I understand the citizen. So orgs, as many of you know, the players coming together to achieve a goal, whatever you want your goals to be. We give you the framework, and you set it up and drive it forward. And we were going to shout a few of them out, but I was actually told we couldn't play favorites, so we actually made our own. So we've got the Fellowship of JJ and
the Balt's Fault Buccaneers.
Those
What?
guys.
You guys made your own orgs?
Yeah, we kind of left you out. Sorry about that, James.
We also have NPC factions, and they're already in the game. And you can earn or lose reputation with them. Now, contracts and doing nice things will earn you rep. And killing and stealing and all of that horrible stuff you love, Ben, that will lose you rep. Ling and Redwind and the ones that you can see on there are just a few examples, and there's going to be a lot more to come going forward. Now, there are also guilds, like the Interstellar Transport Guild. And these are essentially collections of several factions, and we're putting them in a position to be more prevalent.
What? You're saying there's something bigger than factions?
Oh, yeah. So they're going to be something you interact with a lot, and they essentially handle contracts for the factions. But you will earn rep with both still, but as the bigger entity, the guild will be much more important. And you'll find out a lot more about guilds tomorrow at the Stars My Destination presentation at the end of tomorrow.
Again, a tease.
Yeah. Forgot they talked about it there. All right, let's jump ahead to the details.
Banned on moving forward. So, let's have a look at it.
Now, I'd like to point out that the Fellowship of JJ, like every designer-based org, is really focused on things like progression gameplay and mission and crafting and leveling up. But my Balt's Fault Buccaneers, no, they're the real deal. Now, we don't do any of that stuff. Now, we're in it for profit, interdiction lines, shipboarding action. We get all that sweet cargo for free.
I gotta say, one of the biggest things that they could be doing for this game is bringing more of the stuff on the website into the game. And this panel was one of the best just showings of that actually becoming a thing. The guide system, the chat system, and the org tools all coming into the game. And you'll see soon like a calendar and actually being able to see what's going on. It's crazy to me that in order to figure out there is like a global event going on in this game, and this will be a problem this month when they bring out this global event with 421. Just watch. When it happens, it'll be limited time, and you can find out about it on the launcher, but otherwise you have to go all the way to the website to see it. And like a lot of people miss out on those. It's going to be great to be able to find out that information in the actual game itself now, as well as like all this group stuff. This video was towards the end of last year. Nick's odds by year's end. I don't think we're going to see Nick's this year. I think it would be great, and I'm hopeful, but I'm not super expectant of it at this point.
For free? That sounds pretty illegal, Ben.
I don't know what you're talking about.
What's in those crates?
Slam! Interested in joining some big orgs, while I prefer something smaller. So I think it's fair to say that we like playing in different ways and will want to join different orgs. The recruitment tab is the place to find them. So we're giving you the tools to promote your org to potential members in order to give a best first impression to them.
I've just noticed that, Ben. You might want to have a word with Rich. It looks like,
What?
he doesn't want you.
No way. I'll have to speak with him.
Anyway, yes. So we're adding filters for when you're basically trying to find a home. And we want to cater to all types of players because we're a massive game, right? And orgs are combining tons of different gameplay in tons of different ways. So you can search by name if there's an infamous org you've encountered out there in the verse or online. You can search by size. So if you're after a big and active org like me, or a small and more close-knit org like Gabriel. Then you can also search by the gameplay focuses you enjoy. So maybe you love trading in PvP, or maybe you like events like the Daymar Rally. Safe? Yeah. So I guess you'd end up searching for, say, social and racing, maybe?
What if I love committing crime and roleplay, asking for a friend?
What's that got to do with the presentation? Anyway, you can search for whatever you like, and if it's not there, why not just create it yourself?
So, we allowed you to join multiple orgs back in 2014. I can still do that, right?
Oh, yeah. So we're keeping it supported, and we're actually doing the Star Citizen thing, and we're going one bigger.
One bigger.
So we're giving you an additional one to join when we actually bring it into the game, too. And we wanted to keep it because we've all played games where it's far too limited. Like, one org per character just isn't enough for a game this size.
Yeah, and here you get an idea of what the full screen will look like. It's going to be your one-stop shop for joining or finding players for your org. So let's have a look at the core functions and features to look forward to in the rest of the app.
Yeah, because we're in GII. We don't need to recruit any. I'm kidding. We're not an exclusive org. You can be anywhere you want.
This is the summary tab. On here, you can select one of your orgs that you're in on the left-hand side, and you'll see, well, a summary, a lot of at-a-glance information. So we'll introduce some of these one at a time. So first off, announcements and org information. Simple stuff. You use them how you want to.
God, this is like, for anybody who runs an org, this stuff is so nice to hear. Or not even runs an org, just like any level of logistics in a group of friends, being able to make announcements that actually go to people's mobiGlas or something. Oh, man.
Also, we're adding an events log. So in here, you'll get a summary of important events within the org. And
that's also really good, dude. It's going to be crazy to see this when you have like bases going on that are manufacturing goods and shipping stuff. I feel like this would get incredibly overloaded very quickly. Maybe their filters and
changes to org statuses or settings. In short, these things, well, it's a big verse, and it's easy to miss cool things that happen in your org. And these features will help you stay on top of the day-to-day life of being an org member.
Okay, we're also adding an events calendar. So by default,
it's so basic, but it's so good. No more going to the website to find out when the next free fly is.
So by default, it's going to be populated with our in-game events, so you never miss a thing. But more importantly, you'll obviously be able to add your own as well. So you'll never miss another meetup to get together for group content. It's tough to get everyone on at the same time, right? So use this for your Convoy Tuesdays, Casual Fridays, holding hands in Horizon Saturdays, whatever you want.
Getting crushed by the Buccaneers on Monday.
That's Gabriel's favorite.
It is my favorite.
Remember that it is our intent that all the features we're looking at here are available on Spectrum as well, allowing you to access this info even if you're not in the game. This applies to parties, comms, friends, and all other functions. So I can join multiple orgs, like the Buccaneers, the Corvette Club, or Slam Truckers. But how will others see me in the verse if I have multiple choices? Surely.
Before we get to this next part, somebody asked in chat, are they trying to replace Discord? No. But they do want to have their own system for voice and text chat. Because the more people are using the in-game system, the more they can route those into in-game features. So proximity chat means that it's more important for them to have things in the game that listen for audio cues, right? Like AI and alarms and stuff like that. A calendar here means that you can now place a hyperlink in the event description that somebody can click, and it would take them to that location on the star map to start their navigation. For as beautiful as we can make those event invites and host all that stuff on Discord, it'll never actually feed into the game itself. I do think they just released a dev kit actually to start allowing for that kind of stuff in games, but I believe that they're trying to build their own system for their engine that can work for other games as well. But the ability to have all of this stuff work on the same system, ultimately I think the benefit is it's all interconnected and it can interact with itself as that underlying feature. Dang, it's hot there, Jaybird.
I need to pick a banner.
So that's covered by something new called representing. And it's actually quite similar to the existing affiliation main status system on the website. So if you're in multiple orgs, you choose which one you want to represent, but you can only represent one at a time. Now, there are ongoing benefits for being in orgs, which we'll get to in a minute, but you choosing who you represent asks which one you want to benefit from at any given time. But why? Well, we wanted to support players who like to play with different groups of friends. But we didn't want players who are just in one to be at a major disadvantage to those that are in the full 6. Because really, joining multiple orgs should be your choice and not feel like it's a necessity.
And there's no need for you to switch which org you're representing to see things like this Moby screen or org chat. But we want to put limitations on how often you can switch to avoid exploiting the systems. And we don't want to punish anyone who's, well, playing by the rules. And a big part of representing is visualizing it in-world. We want you to be able to fly your banner for your org. So we're adding another MMO staple to the game. Tags. So the org leader will be able to set a tag for the org, and this gets appended to the name while you're representing. So you can easily see who is in which org at a glance. So we'll have it in chats, in world, and if you're not interested in this stuff, well, you have the option to turn it off as well.
How novel! We'll be able to identify people around us.
Love a choice.
JJ, I'm curious. You mentioned guilds before, and I'm guessing they fit into this somehow.
Yes, so you may have spotted a few references on the UI to alignment earlier, but what is it? So, it's your opportunity to form a relationship between org and in-game guild. Now, just as you in personal...
This is going to take some further explaining for sure, because this is an interesting angle.
...rep with the guilds, you can with your org now as well. So your org leaders pick which one you want to align with, and while representing, org members doing specific action, like contracts with them, will increase the org's alignment with the guild. But which guild should you pick? So all of our guilds are going to have a specific theme and associated gameplay. And you can basically pick the one that matches your theme or benefits your org the most. So a combat-focused org, like the Fellowship, might want to align with themselves with the Mercenary Guild. Or one that enjoys making cash through trading and hauling, they'd probably want to align with the Interstellar Transport Guild.
You know us out of GII, pharmaceuticals, if you will.
Yeah, so how do these benefits work? Well, as your alignment with a guild, as it raises, you both unlock new benefits from that guild, as well as improve your previously unlocked benefits. So, for example, if I align my org with the Academy of Science Guild, we might get research speed improvements. As my org performs contracts for this guild, alignment raises, and that speed benefit gets better. And needless to say, other guilds will have other types of benefits. Finally, on guild alignment, you are not locked in forever. You can switch at any time. However, that will put your alignment back at 0, so it's a big choice.
So every member gets full benefits?
Well, not necessarily. We're also introducing loyalty. So it's similar to the org's alignment with a guild, but this represents your relationship to the org you're in. Anything you do that benefits the org while you are representing it will gain you loyalty with them. So for example, you could be doing missions for the org-aligned guild, or you could be depositing money and materials into org storage.
Org storage? Another tease.
Ooh. Definitely going to have to hear more about that. The idea that there's loyalty to org. That's really cool. I hope we can like pick. I don't know. They probably won't let us pick the benefits that people get from that. But that is very cool. Glad you liked the garden tag on Discord. That was Mrs. Tomato.
Ultimately,
none of this will be in
we wanted to encourage
421.
long-term membership.
None of this will be in 4.2.1.
Because we don't think you should just be able to join a well-established org and then just get everything instantly for no effort. So to put it simply, having low loyalty limits what you gain from the org's alignment benefits, and having high loyalty gives you full access. We also wanted org leadership to be able to view members' current loyalty and use it as a tool to reward appropriately with things like ranks and permissions. And then loyalty resets to 0 when you leave an org, so there's some incentive for sticking around.
Wait, does that mean I lose my loyalty if I change my representation away?
No, so not representing puts your contributions or ongoing benefits on hold. So when you start representing again, you essentially just pick up where you left off.
This is going to be like a whole separate system to the game, I feel. Next to the sandbox gameplay, next to the missions and contracts, the main story, all of that. This feels like an entirely other part of the game to progress through and work in. Like, I guess that's kind of how MMOs are. Org gameplay is a whole other aspect of the game to sort of really dive into. I hope that they can maintain that and make this its own unique portion, because this is deep stuff, man.
But what if I leave the org?
It's not very loyal, so it resets.
Right. Well, so, you know, in my org, my Buccaneers, they're mostly scoundrels, and so they tend to join and leave, and, you know, it's not very loyal in general. Larger orgs, they tend to be a pain to manage, though. With the flow of joiners and leavers, do we have any tools to help managers like me?
Well, let's have a look at the Members tab. So this is less complex than the previous tabs, but it's equally important. This is where you see the community of your org and your place in it. So in here, you'll be able to manage members, you can leave notes, and see the ranks of members. And as we did with the friends list and the party list, we're adding rich presence in here as well. This is the rank panel. It gives you a clear indication where you sit within the community. And you'll see permissions on here, but that's something that we'll delve more into at a later date. For now, I'll just say that the leader might be able to determine permissions for each rank, and well, it could be things like inviting new members or accessing org storage.
Stop teasing us with org storage, God!
Come on.
So, all right, so orgs form and friendship and animosities build up. Maybe my Buccaneers and the Fellowship of JJ don't really see eye to eye most of the time. Would be great for this to translate in game, wouldn't it?
It would, wouldn't it?
We'd love more stuff in the game.
So yeah, it's a good job we got it covered, which is with our new alliances and rivalry system. So you're going to have the ability to create alliances and go to war. And there are many reasons to make friends. You might want to have trading partners, or you might want to group up for protection if you're playing somewhere like Pyro. And at the same time, there are probably going to be many reasons why you won't get along. Maybe an org keeps attacking or stealing from you. Alliances forming are an agreement between two org leaders, and it has to be mutual.
To be honest, I do wonder if an org has enough members who are just causing trouble in one place, does that eventually make the org itself have a reputation that automatically updates for people as being hostile? That would be a super efficient tool. Like if a high enough percentage of an org has a certain type of rep, then that org overall tends to have that rep. Because then if you have a group of people who are just constantly trolling folks, then it kind of, the name starts to precede itself.
You can't force someone to be friends.
Unlike real life.
Requests are sent from the screen if you have permission, and you can respond here as well. And as a bonus, allied orgs are going to have additional lines of communication, like Alliance Chat, or being able to share Alliance events on the calendar, just to name a few.
So, rivalry, that isn't a mutual agreement. If someone decides you're their rival, well, tough luck. However, you could reach a mutual agreement to make a truce, putting you back at neutral. And there's no real benefit to having rivals, so we want to make them easy to identify. That's why alliances and rivalries tie directly into hostility indicators. So just like now, you'll be able to see neutral contacts in white and party members show up in blue, whereas your org wingman will come in a dark green and your allied orgs in a paler green. Your rivals, will show up in red.
Or people in your kill list.
The kill list. People on your kill list that we mentioned before will also show up in red.
Okay, so that's what I was asking at the beginning of the video. What did he say that neutral would be? Blue?
Indicators. You'll be able to see neutral contacts in white and party members show up in blue.
Okay, so neutral contacts will be white, but if you add someone to your hostile list, they will be red automatically. Makes sense.
In a paler green. Your rivals will show up in red.
Or people in your kill list.
The kill list. People on your kill list that we mentioned before will also show up in red or orange. If you're not, well, they're not legal to attack. That's the go straight to jail card if you kill them here. So we'll be adding accessibility options for this stuff as well to make sure that everybody can benefit from these updates.
So that's everything for Orcs today, but it's just the tip of the social iceberg. And we didn't have time.
I hope not, dude. Like, that's enough. Just get us that. Make that the whole iceberg. Cut the fucking tip off. Sorry, excuse my language, but like, just give me the tip. Send it down a river. Put it on a barge. It's cool. We don't need all the ice.
Everything, but there's lots more to show in the future. And we're
I'm
super excited because we finally get to deliver it.
I'm parched. Please. Give social tools.
Yeah. Now, what have we learned? We're upgrading Star Citizen social tools to MMO size. With a new social app in the MobiGlass, proper tools to manage parties with rich presence, ready check, and ship information. Richer chat with the niceties normally present in every game. A new party finder, a system that allows you to find players to play with. Revamped beacons and guide system powered by rating and proficiency. On orgs, we're bringing orgs in the game. We're obviously with a new orgs app, but also alignment. So you align your org with a guild and get benefits for your members, representations, which identifies you in the verse and gives you benefits, and loyalty to your orgs, and alliances and rivalry to identify friend from foe. And now, we're going to leave you with a short video to end on because we couldn't show everything we're working on. But what would it look like in the unlikely event where our two powerhouse orgs came together as one?
And my org, right?
Yeah, it's a little teaser for tomorrow's crafting your home presentation and what you can build together as an org, and teasing something else coming in the future. Have a great CitizenCon, guys. See you there.
Yeah.
Branding? Yeah. Dude, this is so, the fact that they put this out but didn't really explain just how in-depth this was. I think even the next day they talked about the customization of this stuff. And it was sort of like, okay, so how much of this is player customizable? Like, are we picking those colors? Are we picking it all where the colors are? Are we just slapping logos on designs that you guys have already given us? Like, what is this saying? Because, like, we're going to have asparagus shirts. We're going to have our carrots. Tomato shirts, of course, you need them. Onions, potato shirts. We're going to have, like, potato gas tanks. Like, I want this gas tank to look like a potato. Come on, let's go. This is the garden. So, that is, that's mostly the look at the social tools and the plans for them. These are not anywhere near being in game as far as we know. I don't even see them talk about these on the monthly reports. So I don't have any hope for this stuff coming into the game this year. This was just a deep dive into the plans that we know of. All of this was talked about at the end of last year. And as is being said, some of the Spectrum testing is happening in the PTU. But we don't really know anything about what's going on with these. So there's your deep dive. Do I think it's going to be put in game, or do I think it's marketing stuff for just CitizenCon? I mean, we definitely need social tools. I certainly hope it's going to be put in the game. This is stuff that is just not necessarily necessary for Squadron 42, so I'm guessing it's not going to receive a huge focus until the UI team is done on Squadron 42 stuff. Who knows what's going on there? We'll update this next time we hear something about it, but that's social tools and kind of how the game is going to get you playing with other players and make you feel comfortable doing it. We're blazing through these patches awfully fast for a game that the devs said wouldn't have a 5.0 alpha and is clearly still like 4 to 5 years from being in a release state. Well, keep in mind, we went through 24 patches in 3.0. Even at this state, that's still 2 years in 4.x. Honestly, they could go well above 3 or 4.24 if they wanted to. That said, I don't think they're going to keep up this cadence of releases after this year. Maybe after Squadron comes out. I think right now they're hitting a lot of content very quickly on purpose. Custom decal and dye systems for armor, ships, bases. You pick where you want that color to be on what part. Dude, that sounds too good to be true. Would love it though. Would absolutely love it. Countering a pirate and someone in your kill list is a bit different. Aye. Woo. So a little sad. The jump ship. Oh, thank you whoever did the 5 bits on Twitch today. Appreciate your support. The jump ship demo is over. Sad times. I don't appreciate it. I liked that game. But I'm gonna probably make a video about it for you here in the next couple of weeks. Probably in July. Got an exclusive we need to be working on. And yeah, I got good things to say. I really like that game. I'm looking forward to the experiences it gives us this year. One thing they could start doing that would be all you'd be all for is custom ship interiors. Custom ship interiors, just being able to decorate them would be great. Jump ship is dope. Can't wait for it to release. Same, man. Early access sometime coming this year. I'm looking forward to that. Engineering in jump ship is so hectic. It's actually really fun to be the pilot because you're just flying around like handling everything and you don't realize just how crazy the engineers are going on board, like running around keeping everything going. And it's like, it's just super exciting. It feels good to go down a checklist and like know you're on top of it and be efficient doing it. And I don't know, I feel like there's a good chance that Star Citizen can hit that vibe as well. Star Citizen's a much more complex game, so it might be harder to make it fun. But the ultimate idea of keeping a spaceship running as it goes through whatever problems it's going through is a pretty fun time. And that's just combat. I mean, you can look at how is engineering going to work when you're mining, or when you're running an EMP, or when you're just cruising around the verse, when you're stranded and taking refuge in your ship for several hours. Yeah, I don't think ships will be randomly falling apart if you aren't doing anything. They've been very specific to say that that won't happen in Star Citizen. Certainly doesn't happen in Jump Ship. Although Jump Ship likes to start you without a working power supply. Very friendly of them. Ooh, they actually just released a video. Dang, I wish I'd known that. We would have gone over it today. Maybe I'll hit that on Wednesday or record it tomorrow and release it. Looks like Jump Ship devs actually put out a video with demo feedback. So we might touch on that sometime this week. If you like Jump Ship, make sure to check out Space Tomato 2. That's where most of the coverage for that is right now. All the solo Idris smoking from internal fires like in the tech demo, landing at stations in clouds of smoke. It's going to be pretty interesting to see how large ships become targets for people once it takes an actual effort to keep them running and maintained. Alrighty, my friends. Want to give a thanks to everybody for being here today. I'm going to wrap up. Really all I had for the day. Not as much to go over these days as there are during May. May is a great old time for Star Citizen news. And I've also just been very busy over here. So I haven't gotten to plan out these deep dives and stuff as much as I usually like to. And we'll hopefully get to that in the next week. We've reached a new level of settling in this week, and we're getting the graphics card. Or the capture card. Also going to try and get back into some gameplay because of that. So keep an eye out for that as well. But thank you everybody for being here. Thank you for the good conversation. Thanks for being great people. Everybody who supported in the chat. Y'all are great. Much love. I am going to forward you over to a video that I have releasing in a couple of minutes. If you're over on YouTube, it's premiering in about 2.5 minutes. And it is basically a video about how it's very easy to focus on the next update or whatever the big thing is being marketed by CIG, but ultimately there's still a lot going on and a lot more that has to happen before this game is complete. So it's kind of just like a don't lose your shit sort of video. I don't know how it's going to be taken. I don't know how it's going to do in the community. Honestly, very unsure of that kind of stuff these days, but I hope you all enjoy it and maybe get something from it. And share it with your friends if you like it or you think it says anything important. And then y'all over on Twitch, I don't know, we gotta go somewhere. Oh, we haven't been over at Moist Noodle in a while. Hit up Moist Noodle, folks. Drop into that chat. Let him know he's fantastic. His lovely spiders are great. His gameplay is fantastic. His voice is magical. And his content is, I don't know, I need another adjective for that. I don't have it. Oh well. Either way, y'all have a nice day. I will see you in the next one. Treat yourselves well. Eat something you love. Go find somebody you love and give them a hug. Do something great today. And enjoy yourselves. Bye-bye.